it, fella. Look here.
Stand by.
One for C-Lab, two for Joy Eagle, three for Wolverine to round out the trio. In this episode, everybody dies.
Broadcasting live from inside the Power Band, this is The Blah. In this episode, everybody dies. I'm your host, Kevin. Along with my awesome friends, Ben.
Yo.
And Chad.
Yo.
Welcome to the podcast, folks. This week we are talking about the 1985... No. This week we are talking about the 1980... This week we're talking about the 1990 science fiction family feel-good classic, Back to the Future 3. Let's start the show.
At a high level, I have not watched the Back to the Future movies in so long that I thought this was the hoverboard one, and the whole time I was like, when is the hoverboard happening?
Where's the hoverboard? Where's my hoverboard?
So I forgot this was the Western one, but it was fun.
Let me get. I'm feeling like you were watching and going, "Where's that sweet hoverboard?
Where's that sweet hoverboard, guys?
Where's that sweet hoverboard?"
And the pumps
and the and the jacket, dude. I actually started watching part 2 last night, and I was wondering why every computerized voice sounded like Stephen Hawking. But we can talk about that when we do part 2.
The height of technology at the time.
Exactly. 2015 technology, baby. And the jacket, when he gets it wet, it's like, jacket drying.
It's been so long. I need to go back and watch the other two.
People think I'm cool because I talk in a robot voice. I fuck my nurse. With my ever-expanding cock.
What the fuck are you on about?
Have you ever seen Knocked Up?
Oh, yeah.
At the end, when Jonah Hill and I can't remember the other guy, they're like doing wheelchair races in the hospital waiting for the baby to be born, and Jonah Hill goes, "People think I'm..." He goes, "Wait. Who am I?" Guess who I am? People think I'm cool because I speak in a robot voice. I fuck my nurse.
Good lord, bro.
Oh my God. Anyway, Stephen Hawking.
He fucks his nurse with his ever-expanding cock. That's
it. Thank you.
Jesus.
It's so funny, man. So Stephen Hawking was great in this movie.
At least it's going to be a light one this time.
We haven't even begun and we're already in a cul-de-sac. I love it.
I'm in the gutter, man. Ugh. All right.
Apparently, Mr. Hawking used to like to frequent gentlemen's clubs.
Oh, yeah?
Is that true?
Lou Gehrig's disease nugget or something?
It wasn't a secret.
No, I never knew it. Like, you
like the ladies, man.
Dropping Stephen Hawking's nuggets. I love it.
Yeah, it's good, man.
Oh, fuck. That's good stuff.
My high level is I have seen this in the last couple of years. It wasn't super recent, but I remember being disappointed when this came out because as much as I love Westerns, I don't want to see a time travel sci-fi Western situation where they go back in time and then all the cool technology breaks and then they're just riding around on horses for 2 hours. So I was bummed out when it came out. Watching it now, I really, really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was fantastic. I mean, it's Back to the Future. It's great, you know? And this one is excellent, you know? The payoff at the end is really great, too. So, no complaints. Thoroughly enjoyed. No complaints yet.
I too, when I was younger, wasn't so into the going back to the Old West plot. As far as I remember, I haven't seen any of these movies in a really long time, and now I'm lamenting the fact that we're kind of doing these out of order because I realized that even though I really enjoyed it, I just missed some like really fundamental things that are sort of important, but I guess they're not pivotal, but they're sort of important. Like for instance, the actor that played Biff was the bad guy in this. Like I had no fucking idea.
Same.
This went right over my head.
Wow.
So it had been that long since I'd engaged with the Back to the Future franchise. That being said, though, I really had a great time watching it. It's a nice matchup. I've since come to love Westerns, and sending Doc and Marty back there was a fun journey.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'll expand my high level to say I'm on the Trike with you. I'm on the President Comacho Trike, drinking beers, where I just didn't give a shit about the Western stuff back in the day, especially coming off the hoverboard stuff. I'd been like 9 years old in the movie theater, pretty pumped on that. So,
oh yeah,
I was a little too juvenile to appreciate it at the time, but it was super fun, like Spielberg's Zemeckis romp. Like it really captures that 80s vibe really well.
No doubt, man.
Yeah, get me a beer. Get yourself one too.
No, I know what you mean, dude. I think that's exactly why I had that feeling, Chad, was because these movies were released 6 months apart on purpose, and they filmed them concurrently, like back to back, almost at the same time. And to go in the second, like the first one was great enough, and then the second one, it's like, wow, we're in the future, and it's so cool. There's all this cool stuff, and I mean, come on, dude, hoverboards, right? And then to go back in time to like the Old West was just like boring. So yeah, that same exact reason, man. You can't go from that kind of eye candy, sci-fi eye candy, to the Old West and be stoked as a kid, anyway.
Yeah, the Western trope was kind of tired at that stage. It was for me at least. It was kind of like Westerns were like my parents' generation's cool shit. Like the other day, we were talking to my partner's dad, so my father-in-law, and it was like, oh, what superheroes did you like when you were a kid? Because Ethan's really my kid's really into like Captain America and all that kind of shit. And he was just like, yeah, Buckaroo Banzai or some shit. I was like, all right, dude, like you're drunk and that wasn't a superhero, but he was just like cowboy. Like it's totally that generation's cool thing. So for us, like,
right.
I don't know, it wasn't the case. Although I appreciate it a lot more now,
Yeah, no, back then it was like detective stories and cowboys and stuff,
Yeah.
Which I dig. I mean, I don't know. Again, watching it now, it was much, much different. How about that Michael J. Fox?
Dude, I know this is a little bit insulting to the character of Marty, but I kind of want to call him Morty. Like he kind of had a like, oh geez, like,
oh my god, dude,
vibe going a little bit. I kind of totally got a Rick and Morty vibe there. Surely that's been done before. Surely somebody's done that.
Rick and Morty is based on this, right?
You would have to be.
It is.
How did I not ever see that, man? I mean, it's so obvious now that Rick. I mean, they almost look alike. Wow.
Yep.
Jeez, man.
Kev's broken 10 minutes in.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and just give myself a death because I feel like I should have noticed that.
I think the original Rick and Morty sketch was called Doc and Morty, I think, and it was kind of like your broke Back to the Future thing. It was this weird, sort of creepy, Doc Brown being, or Doc being creepy to Morty.
Suggestive.
Yes.
Wow.
That was where it started.
Good one, Chad. Really good.
Thanks. I don't know how I missed it either, but
yeah. I wish I could do a Morty impression. Ben does a really good one.
Oof. Yeah, you're gonna have to give my voice some into that.
I was just about to say, we'll if we're lucky, he'll favor us with one perhaps later. I gotta say though, like, wow, man, you just blew my mind with that whole Morty thing. I'm still processing that.
Take a moment to compose yourself.
Yeah, I need to, man, because that's kind of mind bending. I mean, he kind of sounds like Morty, vice versa. Although, I don't know, watching this with adult eyes, like I really appreciated Michael J. Fox's work in this movie. And I always appreciated Thomas F. Wilson, but I always kind of brushed off like Leah Thompson and, Elizabeth Shue and Fox. And I don't know why, because they play such excellent characters when they're playing like their other relatives and stuff. And I guess I never really appreciated it before, but this time around I was like, dude really knows what he's doing. He's great. I liked Seamus McFly. I thought it was really good. And I thought he did a great job as Marty in this one. There's a lot of character growth in this one that I dug.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like the same old soup.
Yeah, ditto with Marty for sure. It's kind of interesting that there was a little bit of a, coming to America style, multiple role, one actor sort of stuff going on in here. Actually, through the whole series, really.
But maybe same again. It's been so long, I had just forgotten about it completely. And now it's like, yeah, being reminded of it, coming off of doing Coming to America recently too, would have reinforced it. I definitely kind of missed that a bit.
I think it was interesting because it was really like Thomas F. Wilson and Crispin Glover and Leah Thompson in the first one. And then they just totally ran with it and expanded it like crazy in the second one, man, and then you had, Michael J. Fox playing his older self, himself, his daughter, his son, super cool. And then in this one, his great whatever.
I guess Crispin Glover was supposed to play Seamus, which is interesting.
Yes. I read that as well. I don't remember why he wasn't in these movies, and there's some reason.
Don't know, bruh.
You don't know that one?
No, sorry.
Didn't they I don't know if it's this franchise or not, but there was some movie where they used footage of him without his permission, and he just basically quit.
I think that might have been the second one.
Oh, really?
Was it the second one? Okay, well, that's probably why he wasn't in this one then.
Well, that's probably it right there.
I'm not 100% on that, but I do remember hearing a story about him being pissed about them using him without his permission, basically, using footage of him.
Okay, so I just ejected to find out. Sorry, it was too juicy.
You ejected to find out while Ben told you.
Now we get to find out if I'm right.
Now maybe you can say the same thing Ben just said again with authority.
No, oh my God. It was actually what Ben said and a little bit more.
Okay.
Key thing being that he was offered much less money than his returning co-stars for the second film, so he dropped out. Then they used footage that they had, and they cast another actor and kind of made him up to look like him, and he was like, yeah, no.
Can't blame the guy there.
Such a shame, too, because he is such a kooky guy and such an interesting and capable actor.
Yeah, he's super interesting.
I was really psyched to see him on American Gods.
I still haven't seen American Gods. Is that good?
Yeah, is that good?
I really enjoyed it, but I think it's getting snipped, so I don't know if I would watch it.
Is that a... Oh, man. Is that a Max show, Ben? HBO? Sorry.
It's not HBO. It's one of the other ones. It might be Cinemax.
So was it a couple seasons in or something?
It's 3 seasons, but I think I don't know if they're going to do another one or if they're going to do like a movie to wrap it up, but they canceled it.
Wow, man, that's too bad.
In terms of like, I will watch something even if it got canceled. Sometimes it's almost better that way, where you don't end up with the Seinfeld curse where the last episode's the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah, I was curious about American Gods because I saw that Ian McShane was in it. Big fan of his.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Does Crispin Glover have like a meaty part in American Gods, Ben?
It's kind of a pivotal part. He's not in it a ton, but when he's in there, he's just, he's just such a he's got a unique thing, Yeah. It's like something that only he can deliver, and it's like a perfect role for him.
Right on.
I can tell you what it is, but I'd rather not give everything away.
Nah, I'll watch it.
Now I want to watch it.
You can IMDb it.
So all that being said, it was a bummer that we didn't get Crispin Glover as Seamus in this one. But, again, standout work from Michael J. Fox. Playing multiple characters and, really doing the diligence, man. He really dialed it in. I was impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Michael J. Fox is really good with there's a lot of like physical comedy in these movies.
Yes.
And a lot of comedy that's just based on like reactions, sort of, and Michael J. Fox is just like great at that stuff.
Yeah, and like slapstick too, like him and Christopher Lloyd, like they're really good at that, pratfalls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is impressive for somebody as young as him, because he was young when these movies came out. I mean, he was still doing Family Ties when these movies were shooting. In fact, he was going back and forth shooting both, if you can believe that.
Yeah, the fact that they're both good at slapstick works really well for Westerns, too. So it was a very fitting genre piece.
No doubt.
Well, that's about it, folks.
Yeah, that's it. Folks, thanks for joining us. This has been great. We love you. Join us on social media, blah, blah, blah. We'll see you next week. Dun, 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 dun. There's your outro music. Done.
Just loop that over and over for a minute.
Exactly.
Maybe you should play some Red Hot Chili Peppers because Flea was in this.
Dude,
yes.
That was so sick.
Swing! Such a great little cameo, man. Well, he was in the second one, too, which was great.
Was he?
Well, wait, he might have been in the first one as well. Because didn't they reference or don't we get to see the car crash in the first one? I haven't seen the first one, I think, in the least amount of time, or the longest amount of time.
Again, I'm wishing we had decided to watch these in order because I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I know, me too.
Find out in the next episode we do on this series.
I still like the meta nature of this, where we're starting with the last one and then we can go back in the past to do the other ones. It's the nerdiest, dumbest, and kind of geniusest thing ever.
Yes, super nerdy dumb.
Is that like our TLC album?
Totally, man. Super nerdy dumb. Don't go chasing nerds. Or whatever.
I like how you went for it.
I did go for it. I'm still going to die, but
yeah,
fine.
Sure.
Sometimes, you just start a joke and it comes to you, and sometimes it doesn't.
I'm going to say death by waterfall. How about that?
Yep.
10 for cojones, minus 10 for content.
Yep, yeah. I died when that song got over. That was actually a CD that I took out of the car when driving to school one day and threw it out the window because my sister played it so much I just couldn't handle it anymore.
Yeah, that's why I did it to Waterfalls, because I know of your deep hatred of this song.
Hatred of some show lore. I think we talked about it at another point, didn't we?
Oh, many times. You gave quite a long anecdote about that at one point. It was great. So everybody could get, contextually sorted out for future references. It was perfect.
People of the world, if you see C-Lab's sister, start singing Waterfalls at her.
That's it.
And then throw compact discs at her, Frisbee style.
Also okay with that.
Yeah, there you go. So what else about Marty or Fox or whoever?
I like the end of his arc where he doesn't end up killing the Biff analog.
Tannen, yeah.
It just like beats him into a pile of horse shit, which I kind of, it kind of fit. Like it's the family friendliest movie ever.
It really is. And I really he really gave it to him, man. Like, I didn't remember any of that. And he was just beating him. I mean, I know sound effects and so forth, but whatever. It really felt like you could feel those punches, man, coming through the screen.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, they troped it out pretty hard. I think it's kind of funny, again, talking about how, back in the day when we first saw this, it was like, this is dumb. And now it's kind of like nostalgia fest. Just because it was I wanted R-rated movies and gritty movies, and now I'm like, oh, PG. Yeah, this is so nice.
Yeah, totally. I'm with you.
Because there's just so much dark shit now that it's kind of nice to get something light and fluffy.
Yeah, absolutely, man. A feel-good movie with an erotic twist. Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. The nostalgia factor is there, but I'm definitely appreciating it on a whole new level watching this now in 2021. And I love, there have been a handful of films like that where we've revisited some old movie from our days of yore. And, I've really enjoyed it and seen so many different things and seen it in such a new light, watching it as an adult. Certainly there's been the opposite as well. Looking at you, Running Man. And Double Impact, where they were just complete and total turds.
I still kind of had a good time with Running Man.
No, I'm not saying that they weren't good times. I'm just saying that when I watched the movies, I was like, wow, this was really terrible. And I really thought it was awesome.
Yeah. Double Impact for sure, man. That was just, wow. We're getting lobbied from some people on the grams to get back into the Jean-Claude Van Damme stuff. So,
Uh-oh.
yeah.
Let's do it, man. Cyborg. Let's pick a really shitty one so we're super disappointed.
Yeah. Laneway
just hear
Burritos
about
is hassling
Cyborg?
us about JCVD.
Yeah. Let's do it,
Is it
man.
a movie or a documentary?
Was that Ali Gordita that was talking about JCVD?
Yeah, Ellie Gordita.
Yeah.
Who had a cameo in Cheers.
And also works at Ocean State Job Lots currently.
Oh, that was
Smock.
fucking great.
Yeah, it was excellent.
While we're shouting out, I want to shout out Joe Tacular, who hassled us a while back about doing Back to the Future. So this one's for you, Joe.
Oh, there you go, man. Love that. Joe Tack. Let's jump back to Cyborg for a quick second. Are we feeling that, man? Like,
Sure, man.
well, I don't know, Benny. When Ben goes ooh on a suggestion, that always piques my interest more so.
I think it was more of a, oh.
Oh, got it, right. Like I just ate something that might be bad for me.
Yeah, less of a, ooh, and more of a, ooh.
Yeah, you're right. All right. I'm feeling you. Yeah, okay. Whatever. There's lots to choose from there. Maybe we should do something better than Double Impact. Like we could go for the gold.
Maybe we should do Street Fighter. Maybe that's it.
Oof. Wow. Or Bloodsport.
I don't know. It would be kind of fun to just destroy Cyborg.
Dude.
Might be fun.
Or Street Fighter, but yeah, Cyborg. I haven't seen it in so long I couldn't tell you one thing about it. Now I want to go find it and watch it.
I can't believe we're only 5 months away from Dune.
Dude, I'm ready.
So ready.
Yeah, that's still a long time.
It is.
It is, but
Still a long time. Especially being like, it's essentially ready, right?
I
mean,
imagine it's done and dusted.
everything is completed. It's just sitting there collecting dust while we wait.
Is he just waiting for us to be able to see it in the theater? Or is that his whole bag?
Well, they're forcing it out on HBO Max at the same time, so I think he didn't have much control over it.
Well, either way, if I can see that in the theater, I totally will.
Oh, fucking A. Yeah.
Everything just opened back up here, so.
I'll watch it in both places.
That
Yes,
too.
I'm going to watch it on my phone while I'm watching it in the theater.
Yeah, and watch it on your phone 10 seconds behind the theater so you can like swap between them.
Actually, I got a better idea. Why don't I drive my car into the theater and simultaneously watch it in the theater on my phone and on my 5-inch DVD screen in my car?
Do you have a 5-inch DVD screen in your car?
Boom.
That's awesome.
No, remember we talked about that like a week ago or 2 weeks ago?
Like the
Ghost
Pimp
Dog.
My Ride stuff?
Yeah, it was in the Ghost Dog episode, like people used to hook up those little 5 or 6-inch DVD screens,
Yeah.
and they'd just be like sitting in a parking lot, like, what's up, man? Oh, we're just watching Ghost Dog. It's like 10, in today's parlance, it would be 10 like vaping guys with WRXs
Puffing cotton.
sitting around watching this teeny little screen.
We're so far off here.
It's all right.
You guys want to talk about the movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love when somebody says that. I was trying to get like a thing going on Michael J. Fox, but I mean, I guess we don't care about him as much. It's just we should.
This is kind of Michael J. Fox's heyday, though, right? I mean, like Family Ties, Teen Wolf, and the original Back to the Future were kind of really what kicked it into gear for him, right?
Oh my God. I mean, this is like his time. Was this decade into like halfway through the 90s or, possibly up to 2000, but certainly the 80s, man, was just, he was killing it. He was super popular. And, again, like I didn't think about it a lot when I was younger or, I just was young and dumb. But now looking back, especially on this one, like you really can see, because it's 1990 now, this movie has come out and he's really matured a little bit as a person and as an actor. And I really enjoyed his performance in this. Like, he did some work with the character and the character evolved and, you can see it on the screen. And I just think it's fantastic and it translates well.
Yeah, definitely. I don't recall him doing a lot of high profile stuff after this. Like, I remember him in Mars Attacks, and then that was the late
I forgot
'90s,
about
and then
that.
I'm not sure when he started getting, onset of his illness or whatever. But
Well, don't forget he did West Wing, so he
that's
was
right.
really wrapped up in that. It was like he kind of started with Family Ties, and then he did a bunch of movies, and then he did West Wing, and then he did stuff like I've never really seen it, but I know that the Frighteners is like super popular in a kind of a cult way, and he was the star of that. And then he did a movie with Gabrielle Anwar called For Love or Money. It's pretty good. It's like a 91 kind of Alex P. Keaton clone, sort of, somewhat.
yeah,
And then don't forget Secret of My Success. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I was going to say, I definitely remember seeing The Secret of My Success. And then what was the one he was in with, like, wasn't he in a movie with, like, Joan Jett?
Ooh.
That'd have been
wait
sick.
a minute. Yes.
He's a musician, and he's, like, trying to be a musician.
Wow. Your most astute dialogue to date. Nice one.
I'm, like, looking through his IMDb trying to find it, and I just can't concentrate on both things at the same time. So,
No, that's all right.
But more recently, he was on Curb Your Enthusiasm, and he's really, really funny.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, he did a couple. Yeah, I haven't watched a lot of that in a long time. It's a great show. So cringy.
I still haven't really gotten into that.
It's so good.
Yeah, dude, it's
That's not
one of the greats
That's on
for
HBO,
sure.
right?
It
Ben,
is.
that's not, yeah. Ooh, now I have access to it thanks to you.
I'm surprised they never made another one. Like, they made these two back to back, and at the end of this one, Doc's got a train and flies off, and that's the conclusion of the whole thing. But they would have just been printing money, and you would have thought the studio would have pushed for another one.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because that was definitely something on the table. And I think that my feeling is that they kind of did the best. They got the best of both worlds, I think. They got 3 movies that were super popular, great lore, great story, the whole Megillah. And then we get an ending that just leaves so much to the imagination, and as we've discussed, anytime you leave the audience wanting for more, it's really the best way to go out, as opposed to your final Seinfeld episode kind of scenario. Right, Chad?
Yeah. I'm not pushing for a fourth, but I would have thought they would have. But
Well, they could have, and it was talked about, but
was it?
yeah, it was talked about in a variety of different scenarios. Like one of them was like kind of Marty mentoring somebody, other kind of kid, or whatever. But like it would have been really cool to just the time train, dude, is so awesome, man. Like
Pretty cool.
Like that, the payoff for that in the end, certainly when I was a kid, that was worth waiting for it through the whole Western that I didn't want to see when I was younger. And, the ending of this, like the wrap up is just fantastic. Not to jump to the end, but, the time train is just super cool, man. So many possibilities.
Time train and that little hoverboard bit too.
What hoverboard bit?
You were just waiting for the hoverboard, man. weren't
I
you?
was just so dying for the hoverboard. When he throws the hoverboard back and Doc's hoverboarding to save
right.
the day.
Yes.
Yes, that scene in the movie that we all saw. Yeah, I was just like, I don't know.
That
I was so
happened.
confused for the first 20 minutes. I was like, do they do like Western stuff and then they go to the future? Like, so I was a bit thrown in the beginning, but
You must have been really confused
a little bit.
the whole way through. I was a little confused, but I wasn't that confused.
Ben, were you thinking of either Bright Lights, Big City or Light of Day? Michael J. Fox as like with Joan Jett?
Maybe. Yeah.
That's why you haven't said anything for a few minutes.
What? No,
What are you talking about? I totally loved participating in this podcast with my friends.
It wasn't just looking at.
The handle on my ejection chair broke, so I can't even eject, bro.
Right? So you're just driving it into the ground.
No. That was all from memory, dude.
Right. Likely story.
Yep.
Stand by.
I'm sitting there editing Cobra, right? And I get to the Joe Fowler part, Kev's lifelong dream, you guys making fun of me, and what do? I start watching Joe Fowler videos again for like 45 minutes.
I want to take this opportunity to turn this into a mid-roll.
Joe Fowler videos again. Joe Fowler videos again. Joe Fowler. Joe Fowler. Joe Fowler.
Hi, Joe Fowler here. Joe Fowler. Joe Fowler. Joe Fowler. Joe Fowler here.
Folks, please share this podcast with a friend, because if we can monetize this enough, Kev can quit his day job and just watch Joe Fowler videos full time with his new career as a wannabe infomercial star.
And that'll be great because it'll curb him from doing it in the middle of the podcast while we're recording.
He can have his own spin-off podcast, which is just infomercials.
I am looking for my son.
Hi, Joe Fowler.
Aha!
Aha!
Hi, Joe Fowler.
Joe Fowler videos again. Joe Fowler videos again. You too can help people like Kevin by donating to our podcast now. You too could save podcasts.
How awesome is Christopher Lloyd, though, man? Like, I couldn't see Doc Brown being played by anybody else.
Dude, how could that possibly be? I mean, I didn't even
Werner
see
Herzog,
any...
maybe, but
Okay, Werner Herzog. Oh, man. Can you imagine that? Talk about Rick and Morty, dude. Be like frickin' morbid.
I kind of want to let you get away with that.
Come on, that wasn't so bad.
That was good. I kind of like that.
Yeah, we're going to let that one go. The Werner Herzog. I'm trying to wrap my head around that. Marty, I left you explicit instructions to destroy the time machine when you returned to 1985. What are you doing here?
How could I possibly love a woman?
I love bears more. And strange small green aliens.
That too. I definitely got like a bit of a Willy Wonka vibe from Doc at certain moments that I liked a lot.
What? What do you mean? Because at the end he literally dresses like Willy Wonka.
I mean that too, I guess, but a little bit earlier, I kind of felt a bit of a Willy Wonka vibe that I kind of just never picked up on that before. It kind of works for me. Like he's just a kooky dude that makes kooky weird shit. Wonka's kind of the same, you know.
All right, I'm with that.
Might be a bit of a stretch, but.
And now I can't unsee it. Thanks for ruining this franchise for me, Chad.
Yeah, thanks, Chad.
Welcome.
I don't know. I guess he definitely did have a bit of a Wonka vibe going on, but I don't know, man. I like that. I like the addition of the love interest in this one. You know,
yeah,
because it was for him, not for Marty. You know, and
Mary Steenburgen,
I think
awesome
is
too.
Oh my God, she's just fantastic, man. I don't know, the way they wove her into the story was well done. It wasn't just like, oh, there's the school teacher. I like her. Oh, I gotta go. Like, it wasn't dumb like that, you know?
It's pretty plausible from a
super plausible because she died.
Kind of
so,
sense.
Well, exactly. It's like she died. So it's like nobody's gonna miss her, man. So why not take her through time? Like, it's so perfect.
Yeah.
Especially if Doc is never gonna return, you know? I don't know. It was just well done, man. And she's such a powerful actor. So, you know, just lent so much more to the story.
It definitely made it like a slightly different formula. You know, it wasn't the same old got to go back and get the doohickey to save time bullshit. You know, like it added another little bit to it. Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah. Right. In a very real way, though, like you would say a plausibly real way, you know?
Yeah.
One of the main reasons I enjoy this one is because it revolves around Doc.
Yeah.
It's kind of his thing, you know? Anyways.
There's only so many times you can do the Marty thing over and over again, you know? Like, it's smart that they went this route for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't throw that away, because I think that's really kind of the key to this whole film. Like, you just nailed it right there. Like, this is like the Doc movie, not the Marty, let's go fix your family in the future, let's go save your parents, you know, that type of thing. Like, they were all very centered around him. And in this one, it is, in fact, all about Doc. And the story focuses on Doc, and he's going to save Doc. You know what I mean? But it's not so much about him, really. He's kind of playing off Doc as Doc being the lead as opposed to the other ones where it was really the opposite. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the other one's Doc's a bit part, the kooky dude bit part comic relief, whereas now he's the main dude.
Yeah, and I think like, even more so at the end, he's kind of like the time machine gets destroyed and he's like lamenting the loss of his friend. It's like actually a really great moment. It's kind of touching too, and then Doc comes back, with that sly smile and he's like, I'm not gone yet, It's great.
Like a sly smile or like a sly smile?
Dude, you are dead for that one. That is...
No, I want Cobretti with the matchstick in a train dressed like Willy Wonka.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Now I'm picturing that.
Now that you picture that, I'm not actually dead.
I'm picturing it, but I want you to die, so...
Okay, you can kill me, but I still want to see Sly with his 2% body fat hanging out with Mary Steenburgen and their 2 kids. You say doo-doo.
Sly Doc Brown.
Yeah. Sly ass Doc Brown. So there's your answer. It's either Werner Herzog, Christopher Lloyd, or Sylvester Stallone.
Stallone. Always. I don't know. Werner Herzog's so damn good. What if it was Werner Herzog as Doc and Stallone as Marty?
Well, I'm okay with that. You kind of want, You kind of want to do Stallone as Mad Dog at that stage, though, wouldn't you?
I don't know. I could see him doing both, but I was just thinking about Sly in the Cobra outfit back in time with the gloves and the match.
Okay.
I left you explicit instructions not to come back in time to rescue me. Well, a lot of people don't know this, but
pizza wasn't invented until 1863.
Hey, I only got one match.
Sorry for derailing the time traveling train.
Yeah, yet again. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to Doc. Like, I don't know. I think Ben's point is really hits it perfectly. Like, this is the total Doc movie, not the Marty movie. And I think, again, seeing it with fresh eyes now, like, I think it's fantastic.
Maybe that's why there isn't a fourth one, because you don't need another Marty movie and you don't need another Doc movie.
Well, it's like, where can you go without making it totally ridiculous? You know what I mean?
It's the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, where you have to hand over the franchise to someone else, and didn't work very well there.
Well, and the other thing too about this franchise is that it's really not. It's about the characters. It's not about the technology and the science fiction. Like, that's dressing to help the story along. I mean, in a sense, it is, but it's really more about the people, as it often is in science fiction. So it's like if you were to do a fourth film, you could take the time train and the whole family, and if the special effects were there, you could have them traveling to all kinds of fantastical places. That's what I imagine in my mind. You know what I mean? The future and the past and all kinds of cool stuff. But
I'm glad they didn't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't either. And it would have been too difficult to do, I think, and too boring. Like, because then all of a sudden you're making it about the time travel and the technology and not about the characters.
I'm happy
God forbid
I'm happy for
What?
Rick and Morty to be the crazy places that Doc and Marty didn't go.
Yeah, there you go.
Because I think, if they had made I come back to this on occasion on this show, I think, and just in general, and this is a Matrix death, but one of the things I like the most about the first Matrix movie is they talked about Zion and you never got to see it, and I just loved that. It was kind of like, oh, Jesus, I'm going to fucking double stack him here. It's kind of like in Star Wars where they talk about the Clone Wars and then you never get to see it, and then they kind of show it in the prequels, and then they show Zion in the sequels, and both times I was just like, so I just kind of like it when they leave things and you don't, to the imagination, which is what you said about the end of this movie, Kev. So I totally buy that.
Yeah, totally, man. We also have a record, Chad. You just had two baked in deaths within 5 seconds of each other.
Just
Congratulations.
stacked them up there. Batman.
Don't do that, man. Don't do that to like get another death in there
cheap.
for Benny. Yeah, that was cheap, dude.
That was a cheap death.
Just to pump our stats up.
That doesn't actually get me a Batman death. It just gets me a you're an asshole death.
It does, actually. I'm giving you another one right now. Death wish.
The Matrix, the Matrix and Star Wars deaths weren't intended to be deaths. Like, it was intended to make a point. So
No, those were like legit, normal kind of situations.
Yeah. How about changing gears a little bit, since we're still somewhat at the end? I completely forgot Elizabeth Shue was the love interest in this trilogy.
I know.
And I love Elizabeth Shue. That's pretty much all I have to say.
She's so great.
She's amazing.
Well, we've lamented her awesomeness and her beauty in The Boys and various other things that we've talked about.
Mm.
She was a great inclusion for the second one, 'cause she had quite an expanded role and she got to play her older self. It was great.
Yeah.
So this one was a little bit more of a bit, kind of the beginning and the end, but it was great to see her in there for sure.
Yep.
That's all I got to say about that.
You mentioned the dude that played Biff, Benny, and I also didn't pick up on him playing Mad Dog, but that dude did a good job playing Mad Dog. He was like kind of a dumb lug, but also kind of plausible as the baddie, and just it fit perfectly for the, cheese dicky 80s villain in a family movie.
Yeah, he's a good Western villain too,
Yeah, but like just dumb enough to not be like a vicious, scary guy. He's just kind of the bully.
Just like he always is.
That's it. I didn't quite get the thing at the end where he's like polishing his car and stuff. Is that coming off of the second one or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, because after the events of the first film, when, George finally stands up to him and all of that sort of thing, Biff goes from being his annoying boss to having his own detailing company, and he's waxing the cars.
No, okay. It's been a while.
So no, it's fine. We get a taste of that in the third one as well. I think that Thomas F. Wilson, really interesting guy. Like, we didn't see him do anything crazy huge. He never went on to be like a big, lead actor type of guy, leading man type of guy, or like carrying films or anything like that. But my God, man, his work in these three movies is just unreal. It's so fucking good.
You did great.
I could not stop thinking about that. Like, he was so good as Mad Dog, right? And then to switch and see him as, Weasley Biff waxing the cars, like that's such a huge shift, man. And then he plays his younger self. He plays Griff. He plays Old Man Biff. He plays Evil Biff in the alternate timeline in the second one. Like, he really just totally crushes it. Every single one of them, man. And Mad Dog might be the best one, like a case in point. Ben totally forgot / didn't realize that it was him.
Same, yeah.
So I don't know. I was really impressed with him. I looked up his stuff on IMDb, and it's a really interesting career. Like, does a lot of stand up. He did a ton of voice work. Like, does a lot of voices on SpongeBob still, or did.
I love SpongeBob.
SpongeBob is awesome, man. But he, I don't know. He's just super talented, man, and like great addition to the cast. I never saw him in anything before this, and like I don't know. He's excellent. He's like one of the standouts of the entire series, man. He's so good. The Biff character is so great. I mean, it's just like, it's so in like popular culture, man. I mean, whether you even realize it or not, people going, hello, McFly, anybody home?
Yeah, totally. And I guess rounding out the cast is Leah Thompson, who I completely forgot existed, but was like, oh yeah, I love her.
Love her, man.
She had a bit of a kind of a bit part here too, but much bigger roles than the other ones.
No, but she did it. She was there, man. She was into it. The Irish wife.
A half passable Irish accent from both of them.
I thought his was better than hers, but it was still good. I mean, this movie has a little bit of kind of suspend your disbelief.
Yeah,
kind of a thing going on.
Cartoony,
right?
but it fits with a comedy movie.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I think that's I also think that's what's interesting about this movie is that it does that cartoony thing and the comedy, but then it does the serious parts really well too. So it's a really great blend of those things, and then of course excellent science fiction. I think that's its killer combo, really. Because you get the stuff like the pratfalls and the not quite Irish accents and like the physical comedy, visual comedy, and all of that stuff, man. And then it's just so damn good, man. It works so well together. And it's hard to make that work sometimes, you know, serious and comedy at the same time. But there's some genuinely touching moments in all of these movies, man. You know, certainly the end of this one before the doc rolls up in that crazy time train is like, it's touching, man. Like he only finds half the picture and it's like, it's sad. I was like, man, this is sad. I think I'm going to cry.
You got verklempt.
And then Doc shows up. What's that?
You got verklempt.
I did. I got verklempt. And then Doc showed up, and I was like, oh, there he is. There he is. Passenger pigeon.
pigeons.
Man walks into a restaurant, orders a bowl of soup.
There's a lot going on in that joke, bro. I like it.
Yeah, there was. I don't know what I was doing.
Yeah, it's mopping up the crumbs of episodes of yore.
I like it, though. I'm totally on board.
Thanks for finally giving us all the impressions we needed in those previous episodes.
Speaking of Leah Thompson, was I the only one that was experiencing fatigue with the, Marty waking up in a fever dream and, Leah Thompson attending to him?
Over and over, yeah.
Was
Yes.
I like the only one that was like, ugh, not again?
Seriously.
Yes and no. I was, and then when I was doing some reading about it, Ben, I was talking about how in every film there's a situation like that, right? And the question is Marty questioning whether the whole thing is a dream, you know? So from that point of view, I was like, oh, okay. I was like, all right, I'll lighten up on it a little bit. But yeah, my initial was like, oh boy, here we go.
I mean, I get it.
Where
it's a
am
hallmark
I?
of the
Who
movies.
are you? Yeah, you look
And,
like my mom.
they there's like enough of a little bit of a twist to this one where it was like, yeah, okay. But at the same time, I was just like, oh, not again.
Yeah, I'm with you, man.
At least he didn't like half fall in love with his mom again or whatever. Or his mom fell in love with him. Or whatever.
You
ever,
mom didn't fall in love with him?
Been in a situation where you're supposed to act a certain way. You know, I think like that point, what you just brought up, was something that I wanted to talk about in this episode, which was the fact that they keep reusing devices in these three movies. And they change them up and switch them around just enough that they still work beautifully in every film, you know? And I really applaud that because that's hard to do, you know? Like even when we got to Goldmember, you know, it was like Mike Myers, it was like, okay, here we go. It's the same joke from the first one and the second one, you know? Like a lot of times that happens in movies. And it's not just all jokes in these three movies, but there were a lot of things like that. And I really feel like they pulled it off well, you know?
Yeah, especially the like name change stuff and, you know, Eastwood Gorge versus Clayton Gorge and all that kind of stuff. Like I like the name changey, time travel-y kind of story thread stuff as well as the scene reenactments.
Yeah, absolutely. I dig all that stuff, like the history changing and the pictures changing and all that
even
kind
the
of
photo,
thing too. Yeah, but I think that, you know, like I was saying a second ago, there's a lot of reused, I guess you could say, tropes or devices that are done well, so they're not annoying in all three of these movies.
I think to answer your question specifically, Benny, it didn't bother me in this one because I forgot that it happened in the other two, but I could see how it would be a little bit like, oh my God, Sam, seriously, again? I loved Doc's Rube Goldberg machine to put a single ice cube in his tea.
God damn it. So good, man. You know,
And-
you're so not surprised to see that, too.
Yeah.
When he finally rolls into the blacksmithery.
the blacksmithery that there is actually no blacksmithing equipment anywhere.
I know, I love that.
Yeah.
And I love
Some
the...
ice for your brown water.
Yeah, exactly. I love the... I don't know if it was like exposition or taking the piss out of exposition, but like, let's reenact the entire train sequence with a model railroad. It's like Doc could just be like, yeah, we'll just do this, this, and this, you know, but they had to have the model there for Clara to see or some shit. Like it was just so overkill and funny. And I don't know. It must have been kind of self-aware a bit.
Kind of a bleep bloop.
Well, it kind of bleep bloop and kind of playing off the first film too, because he does a whole complex model for the first one too, you know. But that one actually had like the hook, and like when the hook hit the wire, like you know, caught the thing on fire, and it was a funny moment, you know.
Right.
Yeah. The look on Christopher Lloyd's face. That little car catches on fire and goes flying off the table is
Worth the price of admission.
Yeah, really, really excellent. Totally.
excellent. Speaking of which, when he wakes up from the wake up juice,
Oh God.
just the physicality of that scene and the way Christopher Lloyd plays it is so fucking funny, man. It's just, and not a word is said. It's just
Brilliant.
There's good Foley in there too. There was the scene, like the couple of moments when Marty's kind of slapping his face and trying to wake him up, and like there's just some really interesting kind of like mouth sounds coming out of Christopher Lloyd's mouth that just really sells it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was very well put together.
I got a related nugget to that. I was going to save it for the end, but I'll drop it right now. This totally blew my. You're going to love this because we've talked about this recently a number of times. Apparently, when Buford's making Michael J. Fox dance and he's doing the moonwalk breakdancing bit, Michael Winslow
Motherfucker.
of Police Academy fame was doing the sound effects for the dancing
That's awesome.
during that scene. Like, can you believe that? I was
You
like,
sniped me on that one. That's just so fucking great.
oh, did you have that one?
Yeah, but it's all good. It's like it
Nice.
totally blew my mind for sure.
Wow. Kev snipes Chad. How about that? Never happens.
It's so fucking crazy. I love that so much. Like Michael Winslow is like one of my heroes, dude. I love that guy.
I know, but it's kind of like, oh, well, we couldn't find the right Foley sounds for this scene. Let's get Michael Winslow.
Like, I know. I'll call my buddy Mike.
And pay him like hundreds of dollars or maybe more than that. Like it's just funny and weird.
So good. I think it'd be worth touching on the kind of like opening sequence a little bit, just because I really enjoyed the way it was put together. I thought the fire in the streets to the hook lightning bullshit was like really great, shared in all three movies, and then Marty surprising Doc to where he passes out and then gets taken to his house. I just really liked the scene in his house where he kind of like freaks out and kind of is scared by Marty and then goes back and leans on the organ that then plays the suspense music. And there's just a lot of slapsticky stuff in there. Gets himself into the bathroom, and it's just a really cool sequence.
Well, it's also cool because it is the exact literal example of what I brought up earlier, how they've reused an entire bit in a second or third film in the series, and they just did it ever so differently, and it works beautifully because it's essentially the same scene as when he first confronts him in the first movie. And he goes to his house, and he's just like totally freaked out and all that. But now there's more layers to it because he's already gone through, being convinced and sending him back to the future and all of that sort of thing. So now it's like, a whole nother, sort of paradigm dynamic, whatever you want to call it, where he's got to send him back into the past, So it's very much exactly like the first one, but just a little bit different. And I love it. I think it's fantastic.
The letter too. I love Christopher Lloyd's acting ability in delivering that letter. Like he starts off excited, and by the end, he's kind of getting a bit choked up by his own letter. And he hits a home run in that scene.
Yeah, exactly, man. What you think about all that, Benny? Besides titties.
no, that's all cool. I don't know if you're done there, but I have a huge gripe.
Go.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Do it. It's about time.
So Marty takes the DeLorean back, and the whole reason he can't use it to take him and Doc back to the future is that it ran out of gas.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
And bears.
So they come up with this whole cockamamie plan with the train, and Doc has to use 1,800 parts to fix something that went wrong with the DeLorean. Like all this stuff, but he's like, oh, Marty, gas doesn't exist yet. Couldn't he have just invented gas?
Made some.
Wouldn't that be
Exactly.
easier than all the rest of the shit they went through?
Yeah.
Or adapt it to run off alcohol or
Mm-hmm. I mean, look,
or
dude.
put a steam engine in it, or like anything. But I mean,
Well, exactly. I mean, to your point, Ben. I mean, you said like the giant, or maybe it was Chad, the giant Rube Goldberg, thing to make a freaking cube of ice for your brown water or iced tea, as it were. And it's like you can't refine oil into gasoline. You know what I mean? Like, but gas is a byproduct of refining oil, as we all know. Palindromes are the same forward and backward. Okay, so
Backwards and forwards.
yes, petroleum.
So to your point, like, why couldn't he have done that? I don't understand. You know what I mean?
I mean, you don't have a movie if he does, but
True.
I guess you probably could. Like, they could have made the whole thing, the whole bleep bloop about, trying to get components to make gas, but I don't know. It just.
But I don't know. Don't throw it away, because like they were making oil at that point in time. Like oil was being, pulled from the ground at that point in history. So
I mean,
it
kerosene
would have
was
been
kicking around for sure.
At the very least, yeah, kerosene for sure. Kerosene had been around for quite a while. So whether it was readily available or not is debatable, but it was definitely available. You know what I mean? He could have easily gotten the gas to do that. And I mean, they could have written the story around that, and it could have been as equally good without the whole, cockamamie train thing. Although I will say the 3 logs was pretty sweet.
It was pretty sweet.
And the train crashing off that bridge was pretty sweet too.
Pretty sweet, yeah. You've got a good gripe of Kev when Kev like ramps up his gripe engine after you share your gripe. Like that's a good gripe.
Yeah, it's like pull started Kev right there.
Yeah.
No,
totally.
Damn thing won't start. No, you just got to keep pulling on it.
It's out of gas.
Yep. Mike got no gas in
Maybe we
it.
should push it with the train.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Where was Carl? He should have been in this. Doc, there's no gas in the DeLorean. Or no, Marty, is there gas in the DeLorean? Ain't got no gas in it.
Sometimes you just go into your own world, and I so thoroughly enjoy being a fly on the wall.
Good. I like it. I think it's important for the show.
Yeah, that really sums up the plot. One part from Sling Blade. It ain't got no gas in it.
I love
trying to
how
think how
often Sling Blade enters into the like. Sling Blade has entered the match. It's just like
It has been, yeah. It's been a little while, but that Jim Jarmusch shit, I can't stop thinking about Sling Blade after the whole Frosty Cream attendant thing. Ghost dog.
Fair enough.
But now I'm thinking about Doc Brown and Carl in the movie.
It kind of reminds me of like when you back in the day you'd be playing like a fighting game, like a Street Fighter or something, and like your brother or your cousin would come in and you're in the middle of trying to battle it out, and they'd come in and hit start, and all of a sudden they're player 2, and you're like, bro, let's play the game. Like, cool, I'll play you, but like you just jumped in with the most random shit.
Yeah, don't do that.
Okay, Chun-Li, and be like, hey,
yeah,
well,
Chun-Li.
now
Now you're gonna get the Chun-Li and do the up.
Ready, player 2.
Then they unplug your controller while you're trying to mop up your spilled bong, and
Yeah, there you
Totally.
go. Carl, we've got to fix the DeLorean. I ain't got no gas in it.
You gonna keep saying it until we laugh?
No, I just want to say it because I like to say it.
Okay. I got the Grandma's Boy reference there, Benny. I like that.
I like it too, man.
Somebody sent us a Grandma's Boy clip the other day. I think it might have been...
You're a hooker.
Yeah.
it's like if Tyson fought a child. It's like if Tyson fought an infant.
You have a Doc Brown angle you wanted to go on, Kev?
Well, I was going to bring up, Doc's attitude towards time travel and destiny changes in this movie too, which I think is pretty pivotal, man, because it's like a reoccurring theme that he's always hammering on in the first 2 films, about not messing up the time stream and altering things and how bad it is and the ripple effect and all that sort of thing. And he's, very much policing that boundary. And I like that. But in this one, it's like he falls in love with Clara and a lot of that just goes out the window. He realizes that there's more to it than that. There's more to life than that. Or some things are just more important. And I really liked seeing that transformation in Doc. Again, I think it goes well with the whole, this is the Doc movie, not the Marty movie. And I think it really goes well with it too. And it totally lends credence to the end of the film and all that. He's kind of somewhat saying goodbye to Marty, and he's like, I'm gonna just go do my thing and be damn the rules and all that, man. I dig it. Right? You guys feeling that or what?
Definitely, man. Yeah, definitely.
He goes back and forth with that stuff through the whole franchise, really.
Does he?
In the first one, he's like, "No, Marty, don't tell me. I can't know what's going to happen in the future." And then eventually he,
No, what?
decides to save himself.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, you're right. Yeah, that's right. In the first one, he goes, I figured, what the hell?
Yeah.
And he reads the letter.
The
you're right.
Specifics, I totally agree. I think the part of what you just said, though, Kev, that I really am on board with is how quickly the whole falling in love thing just completely derails it. Maybe it's just because I don't know, we've all probably been there at some point in our lives where you fall head over heels for somebody and just get lost in it. But I love how he's in his shop and he's just like, I'm not going to fall in love with this broad, whatever. I won't even go pick her up, And then a day later, he's pinning fucking flowers with her name on it to his lapel, and he's just so smitten. And
he already was.
All of his rules are now out the window, and it's
totally
funny, but also you can buy it,
Yeah. And then he's like, just out enjoying the morning air. Love the morning air here, Marty.
It's horse shit everywhere.
Smells like horse shit.
It's a pretty good doc, bro.
Is it? I'm really trying hard.
I like it.
It's working for me.
Well, the fact that Benny's laughing and you're saying that makes me feel good.
Yeah, man. I feel like, we got a bit of Brimley going on. We got a bit of Doc. Doc could totally make a thing here.
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. Should I do the Carl thing again? Because it might be funny if I do it a fifth time.
Can you? Have you guys seen Sling Blade?
Have you guys seen Sling Blade? Carl, we need to get the DeLorean back to 1995, 1985. We need to get the DeLorean back to 1985. I ain't got no gas.
It's way better the third time, I tell you what.
Fifth time. I'm just going to give myself a death for beating the shit out of that.
Yes, that sounds good. Well, speaking of gas and trains, I think maybe that end sequence is worth a little bit of a touch where, I don't know, like you said a minute ago, the 3 logs thing and the fact that there's a fucking visual gauge in the truck or the car that's going to tell you when it explodes. And it's just so trope-tastic and 80s, and just it's blockbuster all the way, and I was just so on board that train. I'm dead.
So on board that you're dead? Why?
No, I was just saying I was so on board.
Oh, that's a terrible pun, dude. Good God, man. God, it was almost so goddamn bad. I want to just let that go.
Yeah.
I'm a little torn there.
You're rip torn?
I feel like that was in the same ballpark as my appalling racism comment.
The what?
Remember when we were talking about Pauly and how racist he was? And I said, yes,
yeah.
But the racism was appalling.
Yeah, that was bad. Still bad.
And all 4 of you were like, die, Mulvey, die.
Yep. Still want you to die. You guys on board with the train stuff? The fucking gauge and stuff?
Like, in what sense? That it was just, ridiculous? I thought it was all pretty plausible, no?
I think I know what you're saying, Chad. All of these movies seem to have, some pivotal scene where it's it's building and there's, kind of a really great build of suspense, and you're not sure whether it's going to go one way or the other, but then they pull it off and, you sort of get that woohoo moment.
Yeah, exactly.
All of them sort of pull that off really well.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean.
Yeah, definitely.
Unlike Wild Wild West or whatever movie that turns into a giant mechanical spider or something. I don't even know if I've ever seen that movie. But I feel like this threaded the needle where it wasn't cheesy, unlike this, which was good.
So I had I don't get how they veer off to the side on the hoverboard and Marty goes, on the tracks through time, and then all of a sudden he shows up in the train. I didn't. How the hell did that happen?
Well, it was obviously years later for Doc.
Yeah.
He had 2, kids that were,
5
I don't know
and 6.
exactly how old
When
they
a man
were,
loves
but,
a
they had
woman,
to be 5 or
Kev,
6 or something. So there had to be at least that amount of time that it passed. It's not like it was, meant to be like they hovered off the fucking, they veered off the side of the train on the hoverboard straight into the time machine. They just...
No. That's not what I'm saying, Ben. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I'm asking this question. So if they never made it up to the DeLorean to go through time with Marty, right? Fine, I get that. And they veered off on the hoverboard, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did they like acquire the time train and all of that? That was like the only hole that I didn't.
Well, clearly he built it.
But like,
while they were raising two kids, etc., and Mary Steenburgen was teaching school, Doc was hard at work in his blacksmith shop building the time train.
Etc. I love that. Yeah, exactly. I mean, he had all the knowledge. He built the machines from scratch originally, and he built them multiple times.
Okay, fine. But
I guess he had enough time to figure it out via, putting things together with 1800s technology or whatever.
Okay, that was my big question. So then,
it is kind of a good point, though. Like it's a very large.
Look, then it loops me back to Ben's gripe, because then it's like, well, why didn't you just make gas?
Yeah, but I think your gripe is different, where it's like, okay, steampunk time machine, but like there's an awful lot of electronics, whether it's 1950s or 1980s electronics. Like you're not gonna be steampunking fucking microchips and shit. I don't know, but it's a suspension of disbelief thing.
I didn't see any electronics on that train though.
Well, that's what I mean. But like,
you said it ran on steam, and there were like weird whirligigs and stuff. But
there were whirligigs and some bleep bloops.
There was definitely a whirligig or two.
I mean, clearly he went to the future and upgraded it, got himself a little, full size Mr. Fusion.
Yeah.
Like some sort of thrusters or whatever.
I'm just willing to give it to him, I guess.
All right, I'll shut up.
I think that's a legit gripe, though. I wasn't on board at first, but now I am. I keep wanting to make all aboard jokes.
Oh, yeah, please do.
To be honest, that's why I'm kind of not on the motorcycle with you two on how cool the train is. I thought the train was kind of dumb, but
yeah, I think the train is cool as a 10-year-old in a movie theater.
I think they could have designed it a little bit different to make it even cooler. I think it was the front of the train that needed a little bit of work,
Yeah.
But how much time are you going to spend on that? It's like just a handful of shots at the end of the franchise film. But yeah, I could see that. I could see the train being different, cooler, better, for sure. Like the weird kind of bat wings were kind of weird. What? They did. They look like bat wings.
Just conceptually, I thought the train was stupid. I'm not necessarily talking about how it looked, but that's all.
You mean just as an idea in general, the train was stupid? Yeah. Gotcha.
I mean, I got it. It works for the movie, but I just, I think it's stupid.
I like that.
Because of the gripe you had,
Right.
Anyways.
Yeah, there was just a little, like, I was like, all right. Okay, so Doc Brown and Sling Blade one more time.
One more time.
Hey! All right. What else do we got?
That's actually good. Let's talk about the music. I forgot about how awesome this fucking music is.
This music is so awesome that whenever there's like a triumphant moment, there's a particular brand of the theme that plays. And like, I remember the last time I watched one of these movies, I was like, I want that to play in the background whenever I do something cool or I like achieve something,
Sure.
And then I started thinking about how funny it would be if it was just like the smallest thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I poured my coffee without spilling a drop. Dun, 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 dun.
Totally.
Like that kind of thing. It's kind of stupid, but it really makes me laugh.
It kind of makes me want to get like a custom kind of horn in my car that only goes off when the speedometer crosses 88 or something. Just like it would just annoy the fuck out of you after a while. But it'd be pretty great.
That's a cool idea. That's a really cool idea. I still like the idea of like the theme playing whenever you like accomplish some mundane task.
Vacuuming the house or something.
I'm going to start imagining that in my everyday life and see how it works.
Exactly, man. Or like
we could try
the lawnmower. You empty the lawnmower bag. Whatever.
Yeah.
Shit.
Bits and bobs?
Yeah, I'm going to try to work that music into into the show in some way.
Now I kind of want to carry a boombox around with that on there. So I can just like have it cranked to 10 and just like hit play every time I accomplish something.
But it's on cassette, so you're like, hang on, let me rewind this.
Yeah,
exactly. Hold on. Click. This boombox is just for my Back to the Future music.
Be pretty sick. It sounds like we're gonna get a treatise of bitses and bobses from you, Kev. Do you have like a couple pages?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to transfer some of my nuggets to that. So let's. What do you guys got for bits and bobs?
I don't have any. So I think it's just gonna be like a monologue.
No, it's not. You don't have any bits and bobs? No nuggets either?
I've got one remaining nugget.
All right. Well, let's see. Hang on one second here.
You gonna put them in alphabetical order?
No. Shut up. I thought it was pretty interesting that the train, when it crashed off the bridge, that was a model. I didn't realize that.
It looked pretty real.
Like, it looked so real. And when it hit the ground and the cart behind it that had all the wood in it, I was like really impressed by that. And when I read that it was a model, I was like, oh, even more impressed.
I was super impressed with the model and the explosion, and then was kind of chuffed that they added a second fake explosion over top of the really good explosion. I just got a kick out of that.
Yeah, you noticed that too?
Yeah.
It was so ridiculous. I was like, why did they need to do that?
I chuckled.
Okay, here's a good, this is more of an everybody Kevs. Did you notice who the mortician was? Either of you?
Nope.
Because he's from a film we just talked about recently, not super recently, but recently, and we made plenty of fun of him.
Enlighten us.
The mortician was Weiss from Running Man.
Who's Weiss?
The nerdy computer guy that got all the dental things hooked up so they could run out of the prison.
The guy that's running around with the Arnie and the other dude?
And Yaphet Kotto, yeah.
That's so cool. I did not put that together.
No, sir. I
thought
did
that was
not
pretty
notice.
I like that. That's a great thread.
That's a good everybody Kevs too. Did you also notice there were 3 old timers in the saloon, and those 3 guys are really famous Western actors. They've all been in a zillion Westerns.
That's cool.
The guy in the middle, Harry Carey, was also in another film that we talked about.
That's his
He
name?
played Fred. Yeah, Harry Carey. Exactly.
That's an amazing name.
The sports announcer?
Yeah, his name is Harry Carey Jr. No, this one's the actor. He played Fred White in Tombstone, the Marshal in Tombstone, which we, of course, did.
Did we do Tombstone?
We did.
We did.
Really?
Oh, my God. You're dead.
Yeah, Paxton.
Oh, that was Tombstone.
Russell.
Oh, I think I was getting that confused with Unforgiving. Yeah, cool. That was a good movie. That was the one where you kept trying to talk about the other movie about Wyatt Earp.
Oh, Wyatt Earp, yeah.
Yeah, and Ben was really pissed about that.
Yeah.
Okay, here's one. What is up with Frank Beard from ZZ Top? Why is he the only person in ZZ Top that doesn't have a beard, but his name is Beard?
What's the deal?
What's the deal with ZZ Top?
I like that they were in this, though, and the guitar spin and everything.
I do, too. And I just like the whole thing about that Beard situation really bugs me.
That's exactly the reason why.
It's to bother you.
It's to bother you.
You had a pretty sweet stash.
He does have a nice stash. Not enough for an entire mustache corner, or steak and mustaches, but yeah.
It's a good one.
It is a good one, for sure. I thought it was interesting that the movie posters at the drive-in were of 2 films that were very, very early Clint Eastwood appearances. They were like kind of cheesy B movies that he did when he was just starting out his career.
That's a good example of like those Easter eggs that are in the story, I think.
Yeah, no doubt. And apparently Clint Eastwood was very touched that they wanted to use his name in this movie. Humbled by that.
That's cool. Eastwood seems like a pretty cool dude.
Yeah, he does.
I'll jump in here really quick and say that one of the bits I thought was interesting was that Marty puts the cast iron stove door on as armor to protect himself from being shot, and that's literally like the plot of Fistful of Dollars.
Oh, nice.
So he like borrowed that. Like he was like, oh shit, I can just do what Clint Eastwood did. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Oh, that makes so much sense. Yeah, I thought, like, when you said that, I was like, oh, that's cool. They were doing a bit of a homage, bromage, but the fact that it is him just being, like, copying what he would have seen, that's funny.
Well, what's even weirder about that nugget, Ben, is that is the movie that evil Biff is watching in the hot tub with his bitches in the second film when Marty walks in to confront him about the almanac.
So it's even, like, in
more meta.
In universe verification of that. That's great.
Isn't that weird?
It's awesome.
Yeah, I read that. I was like, whoa. Even deeper. Mr. November. He likes it hot. My voice is so banged up because I've got a cold. It's perfect for Mr. November. Mr. November. He likes it hot.
Not while we're wearing our sailor outfits.
It only takes one.
What else you got, bro?
The bartender. Matt Clark is the actor's name. He was, interestingly enough, the bartender in The Outlaw Josie Wales, where he was serving whiskey to Clint Eastwood. And he was the bartender in this, where he was serving whiskey to Marty McFly, who was masquerading as Clint Eastwood.
Nice. That's very meta.
The Outlaw Josie Wales.
Yes.
What a film.
Well, didn't he also play Admiral Pike in the Star Trek reboot?
He did.
That was an Inner Space reference, by the way.
Oh,
Yes.
nice. I missed that. I'll take a
Cowboy.
for that.
Nice one.
I kind of was like, that might be a Three Amigos reference, but yeah, I missed it. Sorry about that. Also, Martin Short.
It's while they're all eating raw eggs with tortilla shells.
Ugh.
He tells them that his new haircut was inspired by Clint Eastwood.
That's right. The cowboy. All right, so I'll do the rest as nuggets. Let's just move on to the nuggets.
We'll keep going then.
Bring it on home. Chugga, 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 choo, choo.
No, I thought these were all really good, though. Sorry.
That's
The
okay.
town is the same town that they used to film Pale Rider,
Okay.
another Clint Eastwood Western.
It totally had that like classic Western town vibe.
Yeah, and they even took the train station and cut it in half and used another half of it somewhere else for this movie to switch it up a little bit.
Okay.
But what's even more interesting is that Pale Rider was number one in 1985, and it was knocked off of its number one spot by the original Back to the Future.
Really?
Which I think is kind of cool. Yep. Mary Steenburgen and Jules Verne have the same birthday. I thought that was weird, too.
Whoa. There's some Miss Cleo numerology shit there. I like it.
Totally, dude. I trained with her. I actually interned with her.
With Miss
Slow
Cleo.
me down.
Miss Cleo. Wow. Okay, here's another Pale Rider. There's a lot of weird connections to Pale Rider. So the barbed wire salesman that talks to Emmett when he's standing there holding the whiskey shot glass all night. That actor's name is Richard Dysart. He didn't even have a name in the story. But Richard Dysart played LaHood, the villain, in Pale Rider. Also, Eastwood, the town. I don't know. It's just weird.
You're getting very. It's kind of becoming a Beautiful Mind red string thing. I'm digging it.
You dig it?
I dig it.
Steenburgen and Lloyd were in another Western together. It was the first movie she ever did. And it was called Going South. But in that movie, Christopher Lloyd was in love with her, and she was married to Jack Nicholson. Thought that was kind of interesting, too.
Yeah. Love triangle with Jack Nicholson? That'd be tough.
Think about it. Buford was originally arrested in the original draft for murdering Sheriff Strickland. And I loved that Strickland was the sheriff, and I loved his insanely awesome stash and his hair. Yeah, that stash is sick. But they thought that was a little bit too morbid for a quote family movie, so they rewrote it and took it out and had the deputy arrest him. And it was for robbing the stagecoach instead.
I could see that taking it out because they wanted to make it super family friendly or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That dude that played Strickland looked super familiar, but
yeah, because he was from Top Gun, dude. Right?
Yeah, he played Lobot in Star Wars.
He played Loban.
No,
Did he really?
Just kidding.
No,
Just kidding.
dude, I'm buying that for $1. I want to believe that.
Do it. Buy it for $1.
He kind of has that look. I love that.
He kind of does, yeah.
Yeah, give him a nice blouse and a pantsuit. And,
Yeah.
weird, thing around his head.
Computerized head thing, yeah. Blousy shirt, yes. Okay, here's my last one. This one I found very interesting. More in the vein of Everybody Kevs, but Ronald Reagan was originally asked to portray the mayor of Hill Valley in 1885.
That's cool.
Because he has a particular fondness for the first Back to the Future film. So they asked him to do the movie, and he declined to do it. But I think that would have been pretty damn cool. It would have been his first film role in 30 years.
It would have been great.
Yeah. Anyway, what do you got? What's your one nug?
This isn't mind-blowing or anything, but the bandana that Doc Brown is wearing is made from his shirt that he wore in Back to the Future 2, which I thought was cool.
Yes, dude. I also read that. I thought that was interesting as well.
Makes sense. I mean, he's been stuck in 1865 with only the clothes on his back, but it's clever. Another Easter egg, I guess.
Nice. I like it. Very, very cool. Rounding out the nuggets and bits and bobs sections. So there you have it, folks. Let's
deaths.
There you have it, folks. Let's do the deaths, of which there are
next?
many.
What's next?
I've died
deaths,
a
yes.
number of times doing that. All right, we got I died on the Doc and Morty thing.
Mm.
I also died by waterfalls.
Yeah.
That was pretty bad. Chad, you died. It was a Sly Doc Brown death wish.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted Sly as Doc Brown. Then you had the record, the new EBD record, a Matrix death and a Star Wars death within 10 seconds of each other.
Yep.
You also had a death wish via me and Ben because you were trying to elicit a Batman death for Ben, which we didn't none too appreciate.
I'll take that death, but it was cheap.
Mm.
No, you're not taking that death. No way.
Okay, well, I'll give you one now, though, because I was going to say it a second ago. I read the other day that Billy D. Williams was offered the role of Two-Face in the third original 90s Batman, and when Burton pulled off the movie, Schumacher changed it, and I think Billy D. Williams would have been so good as Two-Face.
But Billy D. Williams was in the first Michael Keaton Batman.
Well, they wanted to make him Two-Face, which I thought was cool.
Oh, shit, right, of course. He played Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
Duh.
Like, do the proper
that's a
Two-Face
death for
with
me.
him. So that's a proper Batman death. And it relates to when you were talking about the Lobot dude. That's why I came to mind.
Yeah, it still doesn't count, though, because I still liked Batman back in the Keaton days.
Okay. So it's only when you don't like it that it's a death?
Well,
Yeah, because he doesn't like it now.
I
it's
kind of
because
like that.
Batman is on, like, his fifth incarnation in film, and I just think it's kind of a waste of time.
Totally.
Yeah. And Ben Affleck's eating cheeseburgers.
Bathman.
To hell with Batfleck.
To hell with you.
Is that all the deaths?
Yeah, yeah, I died on the Carl and Doc for the 5th time, and then you died on We Did Tombstone.
Whatever.
And then when you missed the interspace reference, you insisted on a death as well.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then I just got a Billy D death. That's it. Ratings.
Roger that.
Roger Dodger.
Rating.
Ratings. I'll go first this time. This movie is excellent. And aside from Ben's gripe, which my gripe was somewhat connected to, I give this movie a 9.5. It's excellent, and it just great mix of science fiction, family fun, comedy, pratfalls, dramatic moments, excellent acting, excellent cast. Great way to wrap up the franchise, and I'm so glad we did this one.
Cool. I think
Here we go.
I think this is true, but I believe this one would probably not be rated as high as the other two for me. I haven't seen the other two in a long time. I think the first one's like super creative. Obviously, it being the first movie in the franchise, it's the first taste of the, story. And then the second one hit such a nostalgia button for me because of the like hoverboardy, super futuristic stuff. So, I really did enjoy watching this time around, though. But yeah, it's in good movie territory. It's a 5.1. movies in the similar kind of like cheesy space or whatever, for me, from a nostalgia point of view, like Demolition Man is a little bit better than it. Purely nostalgia, like it's not a better movie. I've got it really close to Galaxy Quest, which I don't know if it's better than Galaxy Quest or not. I kind of want to put it below Galaxy Quest. Do you guys have thoughts on that?
I would say, yeah, I could see it being below Galaxy Quest for a couple of different reasons. Yeah.
Maybe just.
Like by a hair.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like Galaxy
but they're
Quest.
both
Yeah.
Galaxy Quest and this movie are 5.1s. So just to give you
I like
bit
it.
of context.
Nice. The ever elusive +5.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
What about you, Benoit?
I like this movie. I like that it's sort of Doc's turn to find his happiness. I didn't like the Western aspect when I was a kid, but I like it now. I really am a fan of the Back to the Future franchise in general. I love all those movies. This one, though, is my least favorite of them. But with that being said, it's still excellent. I give it a 8.
Wow.
Nice.
Even still now, like watching it, now in 2021 as adults, like it's the least favorite, or is that like they're all awesome, but this one, if you had to stack them up, this is the least favorite kind of thing?
Yes, that's exactly it.
Got it. Okay. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, I gave it an 8. It's not like it's a bad movie. It's
True.
I think it's
just trying to get
Algorithm 5 is kind of an 8 in the normal universe.
Algo 5 is like an 8. Yeah. All right. Yeah, sure. No, that makes sense. Total sense. I like it. Another just a closing sort of thought or bit or bob or whatever is there was a game that came out, a Back to the Future game that came out, I think in 2015, and I was able to get a copy of it for free with my Xbox Gold Pass. I have not yet played it, but I was told it's sort of like those. I can't remember the name of the company that does them. They do these like they're kind of like point and click, like Walking Dead games.
Telltale Adventures.
Thank you. It's it's like a Telltale, or it might be a Telltale, but it's similar to that in style. It's not like an action game, but I've been told through the reviews and things that I've read that is the kind of continuation of the story, the most like best and most faithful continuation of the story. Because there was actually an animated series that came out a couple of years after the third film that ran for 2 years. But the game is supposedly like, if you really want more of like the story, play the game. That's what I'm told.
Cool.
Interesting.
Better than Die Hard for NES.
Oh my God. But not better than Bruno the Kid.
No.
Dun, dun,
was good
dun,
stuff.
dun.
Well, cool.
All righty. So, Chad Go Rhythm, what do we have coming up next week?
Next week we're doing Black Rain, a request by Allison Gordita.
Allison, nice. I love it. All right. Well, there you have it, folks. Thanks for joining us for Back to the Future 3. We will get to the other movies in the franchise at a later time.
Or in a future time? In a past?
I like what you did there. At a future time. And please join us next week for Black Rain, starring Michael Douglas. And that's it. So long, folks.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
And that's going to wrap up this week's episode, folks. Follow us on social media. We use the handle at EBD Podcast on all social media platforms, so join in on the conversation. You can find the show notes for this episode in your podcast app of choice, or at our website, ebd.fm/episodes/108. If you'd like to support the show, there are a number of wonderful ways to do it. Firstly, we'd like to say that we love all the support that you all have given us. We really appreciate it. People that have supported us on Patreon, the people that have left reviews. And to that end, if you can leave a review on iTunes or wherever you get your podcast, that would be fantastic. It really helps us out. At Patreon, we are patreon.com/EBD podcast. You can also tell someone to check out the show. Please do. Word of mouth is so powerful. And that's it, folks. Stay tuned next week for Black Rain. We'll see you next time.
One for C-Lab, two for Troy Eagle, three for Wolverine to round out the trio in this episode. Everybody dies.
Beady, beady, beady. 2 weeks.